we go. Welcome into the show. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now. Chase Sr. here with you. And no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making our post-game reaction show a part of your afternoon. And everybody's Sundays here on this October 19th of 2025 made much better because the Philadelphia Eagles put their nuts on the table. They go into one of the more raucous environments in the National Football League, and they beat the Vikings 28-22. Philadelphia ends their two-game losing streak. They do not lose to Carson Wentz, and against one of the best defenses in the NFL and one of the best defensive coordinators in football, Jalen Hurts went off and he shined. And this is a huge win for the Eagles, obviously, to move that record to 5-2, for Jalen Hurts and this offense to have explosive plays, to play well, to hopefully build momentum and confidence moving forward. The result of this talk about how during the mini bye week, they figured some things out offensively, how there was a lot of accountability taken for the Eagles' offensive struggles. Well, for this Eagles team to beat one of the most well-coached teams in football, you can chalk that up as a big-time win for the Birds. And that is now 5 wins for the Eagles this year, all against high-level, quality opponents. The biggest storyline coming out of this game, though, is this. Jalen Hurts needed to show up today. Jalen Hurts needed to play better. He even admitted his play has been subpar to start this year, and he has hurt this Eagles offense at times. What a response, and what a huge performance from Jalen Hurts on the road in a hostile environment in a big spot against one of the best defenses in the NFL and one of the best defensive play callers and minds in the National Football League. This was ice in his veins type of material from Jalen Hurts in this ball game here today, where he was nearly perfect. Against the blitz, he was unstoppable. In critical moments of the game, he completed big-time throws. DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown, they popped off for more than 300 yards combined. Hurts on the day, 19-23, 326 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks, and a perfect quarterback rating of 158.3. This is what Jalen Hurts is capable of. This is why we had to hold him accountable for playing poorly over the last few weeks, where his struggles have been visible. They have been obvious. Second half of the Bucs game, didn't complete a pass. Second half of the Broncos game, outside of the wheel route to Saquon, offense didn't do anything. Against the Giants, he was horrendous. But going on the road in that environment to play like that, and all of his touchdowns, impressive plays by him, that's what the Eagles team needed. And now moving forward, this is a victory with the Giants coming to town after Philadelphia got embarrassed by New York a couple of Thursdays ago that can propel Philadelphia the rest of the way. And what you love to see is how Hurts played, but how A.J. Brown performed. 4 catches, 121 yards, 2 touchdowns. Opening drive of the game. You take nearly half the clock off, right off the rip, after getting the opening kickoff. And on the touchdown throw to A.J. to start the scoring for the Eagles, it was Hurts extending the play and then throwing a dime downfield to A.J. On the DeVonta Smith touchdown, career long for him, 79 yards right in stride to Smitty, who beat Isaiah Rodgers on the double move. On the second A.J. Brown touchdown, right down the seam, Hurts ripped that throw. And then, with the Eagles up and the Vikings having a slimmer of hope remaining, on a third down, all-out pressure, the Eagles put their nuts on the table and they say, you know what? Instead of just running the ball and not gaining anything and punting it back to Minnesota with an opportunity for them to win the game with a touchdown, let's throw a shot downfield. A.J. Brown, one-on-one, Isaiah Rodgers, who got cooked today, but going into the game, he's been one of the top corners in football. A.J. hits him with the double move. And Hurts, third down, pressure coming, pressure spot, delivers a perfect throw. I am so jacked up about this Jalen Hurts performance, and I'm so happy for him to come through in this spot, in this game, against that defense. And look, hopefully some of the conversations around Hurts motivated him throughout this week. He said it himself. He needed to play better. And what a way to answer. Flatliner, cold-blooded assassin, cold-blooded killer, clutch gene. And I know that I've been in the Twitter crosshairs of a lot of people over the last week and change because I put out a video not calling for Jalen Hurts to get benched. I did not say that there's a quarterback controversy. I literally started the video with that. What I had said is that Hurts needs to play better. He's killing this offense right now. And Tanner McKee does things that sometimes Hurts struggles with. Throwing with touch, anticipation. That helps you beat the zone. Eagles haven't been able to beat zone defenses. And so people are calling me a Jalen Hurts hater. I've been one of the biggest supporters of Jalen Hurts on YouTube, on social media. I have defended him time and time again. I saw it in 2020 when he took over for Carson Wentz that this guy could be special. And I've been alongside Jalen Hurts in supporting him for his entire career. But at the same time, when you play poorly and you're the franchise quarterback and you win a Super Bowl and you win a Super Bowl MVP and you've outplayed Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls, when you do that, you are going to be held to a higher standard. You think Patriots fans didn't criticize Tom Brady when he was playing poorly? Of course they did. So Jalen Hurts is at that same level of criticism and under the microscope like that. And that's how you want to see your franchise quarterback respond. Just a fantastic game and one of the better games passing the football in his NFL career, considering the defense that he was playing, how aggressive the Vikings are, and how great of a play caller on defense Brian Flores is. And just great to see him finally link up and carve up the defense by finding DeVonta Smith and A.J. Brown. This is what this Eagles offense is capable of. Was it perfect? No. There was that stretch after that opening drive where they couldn't pick up a first down. Multiple 3-and-outs. They couldn't move the football. And obviously you want to see more consistency from this Eagles offense. But this is what they're capable of with this talent, which is why all of us have been so frustrated with how up and down and inconsistent this Eagles offense has been, because you see the flashes. Kevin Patullo needs to do a better job calling plays for an entire game. But this was the most complete game that this Eagles offense has played. The Eagles offensive line needs to protect and block better. Saquon Barkley has to get going. But shoot, when you can air it out like this, it makes you hard to defend. And you air it out like this, you put this on tape, right? And then defenses see that, they start to defend you a little bit differently, and hopefully that can get Saquon going. But right now, I think it's more of an offensive line issue. But Smitty, $183 on 9 catches. A.J. Brown, 4 catches for 121. You look at the splits here. Eagles put up 361 yards of total offense. The Vikings, 387, but they were playing catch up all day. Yards per play. This was huge. 7 of 4 for the Eagles. 5.8 for the Vikings. The Eagles were 0 to start the game on third downs to start. I believe they started 0 of 6, 0 of 7, something in that range. But those 3 third downs that they did convert on came in critical junctures of the ball game. Vikings do go 7 of 15 on third downs. Eagles penalized 8 times for 64 yards. The Vikings 3 for 30. Vikings did win time of possession. Not surprising if you watch this game. But another huge key to this game was this Eagles defense being able to play terrific football inside the red zone. Now, I know you're going up against Carson Wentz, and Carson Wentz is one of the worst starters in the NFL. And if you lost to Carson Wentz today, the city might be up in flames. But to hold Minnesota to 1 of 5 in the red zone, having Will Reichard have to settle for 5 field goals on the day, that was the difference between a win and a loss. And this Eagles defense is not the same. They're not great against the run. They have now given up more than 100 yards rushing in every game this year except for today. They're not great on third downs. They give up some explosive plays from time to time. But what they had done a pretty damn good job of is being able to get stops in the red area. And if you give up all the yards in the world, that's fine. If you're holding teams to 3, you're going to have an opportunity to win a lot of ball games. And it was also crucial for the Eagles to take care of the ball. Didn't do it against New York. They were very sloppy with it. And in this game, they win the turnover battle 2-0. You got the pick six, Jalen Hunt off Carson Wentz, and then Carson Wentz with one of the worst picks that you'll see, pretty much a punt into the hands of Andrew McCuba. Was it perfect for the Eagles today? By no means. But was it an inspiring win and a win that you can build off of? Hell yeah. Because that's a quality opponent right there, despite them not having great quarterback play. Because Kevin O'Connell always elevates his quarterbacks. Do want to tell you about this deal. Thanks to our friends at Fanatics. This Eagles hoodie was $75, now on sale for just $40, excuse me. That's $35 off from $75 to $40. All you have to do is use our link down below, chatsports.com/PHI hoodie. It's available thanks to our friends at Fanatics. Fly Eagles Fly on the front, on the chest, with that old school Eagles logo. Very comfortable. Fall is here. Temperatures are getting cooler. That autumn crisp and bite is in the air. It's hoodie season, baby. So hop on this deal. Limited time only while supplies last. Chatsports.com/PHI hoodie. Use that link, and you'll get $35 off on that hoodie. Other takeaways I have from this game. Great opening drive for the Eagles. 12 plays, 75 yards. They were 2 for 2 on fourth downs. And I thought to start the game with that level of aggression and that level of fearlessness sent a statement to Minnesota. We're here to play, and coming off a game in which we looked soft and timid, we're not going to repeat that. And they convert on both of those fourth downs to keep those drives going. Barely converted on a tush push, and then that's when Hurts was able to find A.J. Brown on that 37-yard score. A great job by Hurts to extend the play, point A.J. upfield. Great job by the Eagles offensive line to hold up, and then A.J. was lined up against a linebacker, and he was able to get upfield once Hurts pointed him upfield, and then Hurts dropped it in the bucket. And so to really set the tone that early in the game, phenomenal. Now again, to end the half after that, they really couldn't do much and didn't do anything until the 79-yard strike from Hurts to DeVonta Smith. While you want to see this Eagles offense be more consistent, how awesome was it that really for the first time all year, from the start to the end of the ballgame, collectively, they put together their best performance of the season. And you saw some explosives with AJ, DeVonta getting involved early on. You saw Saquon Barkley able to get some daylight, pick up some positive yards. On the day, he didn't really do much from a statistical standpoint, but the threat of him out there was huge. Another wrinkle I loved from Kevin Patullo was having Jalen Hurts under center more. And it just poses something different to the defense. You can run it when Jalen Hurts is under center. You can operate play action when he's under center. But Jalen Hurts is a comfortable pocket passer when he's taking snaps from under center. 5-step drops, 7-step drops. He's able to take the snap, keep his eyes on the defense as the play transpires. That's big for him because sometimes pre-snap he's very smart. He's a coach's son. He clearly has a high football IQ. Sometimes where Hurts gets mixed up is when the defense changes things post-snap. Well, when you have your back to the defense and then you have to turn around when you're in the pistol or you're out of the shotgun, sometimes you can't really process what the defense is doing. When you're under center, your eyes are able to be on the defense the entire time. You might slightly take your eyes off the defense on that play action when you fake the snap because you need the head fake and the arm fake. But Hurts is a clearly comfortable pocket passer from under center. And I like that slight adjustment that the Eagles had today. Other notables, A.J. Dillon was benched, had that bad fumble against the Giants. Tank Bigsby got an 11-yard carry in this game. I like the juice in which he ran with. I had said after that Giants game, it's time for Xavier Gipson to be the kick returner. He looked better in the return game than what we've been accustomed to seeing. He has a lot of return experience. You sign him to the active roster. Get him on the field. Eagles did. I would still like to see Britton Covey get some opportunities at punt return because him as a punt returner, very dynamic player. And in 2023, he was one of the top punt returners in the game. One of the big things that's really hurt this Eagles team all year is their starting field position. And it's because they don't have much juice in the return game, or they make mistakes with penalties in the return game. So some slight adjustments there. I thought Nakobe Dean gave the Eagles something at off-ball linebacker, and then Vic Fangio used Jahad Campbell as an edge rusher a decent amount. The Jalen Hunt pick six of Carson Wentz, what a phenomenal play design. I think the Eagles had 6 guys along the line of scrimmage. They only had one off-ball linebacker. It was Zach Bond. He blitzed 2, but then Jalen Hunt dropped back into coverage. Carson Wentz never saw him. Threw it right to him, and Jalen Hunt, a college safety who started his career as a safety at Cornell and then switched to edge rusher at Houston Baptist, looked pretty damn athletic, dropping back in coverage, catching that ball, taking it back for the score. Big play in the ball game. And who made that play possible as well? Jalen Carter absolutely annihilated Carson Wentz. Another big defensive play in this game, really a couple more. You had a Moro Ojomo sack to force a field goal. That was part of the Eagles' red zone defense playing well, forcing 3. And then Josh Uche had a big sack in a big spot. This Eagles pass rush has been lacking a little bit. They need to bring it more and be better. I still think the Eagles need to make a move there for a pass rusher, and this move can help the Eagles do that at 5-2. Another quality win, but the players on the roster really stepped up today on all fronts. Your stars came to play. Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith on offense. And then your stars came to play on defense. Jalen Carter gets to Carson Wentz, cleaned his clock. Jalen Hunt, who doesn't have a sack this year, pick 6. Moro Ojomo has been awesome this year, a sack to force a field goal. Josh Uche, a rotational player, gets a sack in a big spot. Just an awesome win for the Eagles. And it's so funny because we've been clamoring for the Eagles and how they should have brought back Isaiah Rodgers. Look, I still think you'd take him over Adoree Jackson or Keely Ringo. I don't think that's a debate, but the Eagles targeted him today. And Howie Roseman has to be happy about how the Eagles went after him. 7 targets, 5 catches, 151 yards given up, 30.2 yards per catch, 3 first downs, and a touchdown. 100 of those yards were to DeVonta Smith. Lane Johnson saying the Eagles did some different things on offense today. Big formations, stretch him out, under center. The under center stuff, one of the bigger takeaways from what the Eagles did offensively today. Jalen Hurts walking to the locker room. We ain't losing no more. Flying again. Love it. Howie Roseman greeted every Eagles player going into the locker room after the win. That's a feel-good road win. AJ and Smitty, by the way, I think I said this earlier, 304 combined receiving yards in this game. And Hurts was just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Let's go. Your confidence level in this Eagles offense after today has to go up, right? Has to go up and increase. Let me know down in the comment section. Scale it for me 1 to 10.